act like I just go out searching for, I don't go looking for nobody. Okay? Let's just get that straight. I don't go out looking, searching for nothing. I don't have no intention of, ooh, I'm gonna go do this. Like, no. You guys act like I just meet these people and just get pregnant. Ooh, I'm gonna have a baby. Like, no. It's like years of building with somebody and it doesn't work out. Like, okay. And I'm left with a child. Like, okay. I get it. But these aren't strangers. You know what I mean? Just didn't work out. And that's okay. Life goes on. So let's move on. And please keep my daughter out of your guys' comments. Like, what are you teaching your daughter? Worry about your daughter. Worry about what you're teaching your kids. And if you don't have none, worry about having some kids to teach something to, okay? Because I teach my daughter very well. She has seen me in relationships. She's seen it not work out. Yes, she's seen me with a kid. She don't even want no kids.
Hey y'all, I'm back with another video and I had to come and hop on here real quick to discuss this whole Joie Chavis situation with her coming online recently venting about her housing situation and how she and her 3 children were evacuated from their apartment in LA due to the fires. And y'all, social media has been lighting her up over the last 24 hours because of this video. And in it, she does discuss how she's essentially houseless at this time. And for those that are unaware, this woman is the baby mother of 3 different high-profile men in the industry. So we're talking about Bow Wow, and I think, well, now he's not high profile, but back when she was with him, I think he had more status about himself. And then Future, and then Trayvon Diggs, who is a football player, athlete. So she was also not so low-key a sugar baby to one of the most controversial and wealthy figures in hip-hop, aka Diddy. But that's a topic for another video. I'm not going to really get too much into like her affiliation with Diddy in this video. But anyway, you had several people lighting her up on Twitter specifically about being down bad financially, despite having had kids by literal millionaires. And I wanted us to take a listen to exactly what she had to say first, and then I'm going to come back with my thoughts.
This is truly a humbling experience. Nothing can prepare you for something like this. I am just grateful that my house didn't burn down. But I can't go back there. And they're saying that I can't go back for maybe another 10 to 14. Maybe another 10 to 14. They're not looking at me. Could it be? I can't go back home for another 10 to 14 days. So that's crazy because we're like rotating 4 or 5 outfits. You know what I mean? Just continuing to rotate them. But like I said, I'm just super grateful that our house is still intact. Everything around us is burned down, so you can understand why I do not want to live there. I think I'm just over it. I think with my robbery that happened a few years ago, having to just like abruptly move, and then the fires happening, I'm just ready to get out of LA. It's time to just refresh. I really want to like cut my rent in half so that I can save and buy a house. That was the plan anyways, to buy a house by the end of this year. But now I'm really just like, okay, no, it's time to get out of here, and I can find what I need for like less than what I'm paying, half of what I'm paying right now. So sorry, my thoughts are just like kind of everywhere right now. I think I'm just getting into a space where I feel a lot better about the circumstances. Like at first I was just so frustrated, like I was literally crying. I'm sensitive, I cry about everything now, and I don't care. But I had just been crying because I'm like, oh my gosh, like what are we gonna do? Like I'm staying at my mom's house right now. My renter's insurance covers a hotel, but I just feel like I don't want to be in one room with 3 kids and like no kitchen, no washer and dryer, no, you know, like I'm not about to be door dashing and Uber eating every day, all day. Like it's so expensive, and it's just been such an inconvenience, all these costs of buying stuff all the time and buying food every day, all day, instead of like cooking. So I chose to stay at my mom's house. Sorry, that was so long and drawn out, but I chose to stay at my mom's house. And moral of the story, everything's fine. I'm still not able to go home, but it's fine. Me and Harlow are gonna go out of town this week to look at some places, some options. I have to go to 2 different places, so she's gonna come with me because Hendrix is at a temporary school and Shy is doing virtual learning, and they just kind of need to be home, well, with my mom. So I'm going to take Carlo and look at some stuff. Hopefully I really like one of the choices that I'm going to look at. Then yeah, that's the update. I got a lot of work to do because I have a lot of stuff in production right now, and it's gonna be ready next month, so like mid next month. So I just got a lot of work to do. We're finishing up the challenge. We had to put like a hold on finishing it up because obviously everything that's going on, but we're finishing up the challenge. I'm about to grab a coffee and have an amazing day. I hope everybody else has an amazing day as well.
All right, y'all. So that's what she had to say about her housing situation. And to be fair, starting off, I will say that it was an evacuation situation. She did state that, to her knowledge, her apartment wasn't impacted and they can move back within the next 2 weeks or so. It's just the surrounding area that appears to have been severely damaged. And as a result of that, she was saying that she doesn't think she would even want to go back to that building, which I mean, I completely understand. I think the reason that people were going off on Twitter and dragging her, and rightfully so, was just due to the fact that she was having to go to her mother, right? Like, she was in such a predicament that her only source of housing was to return to her mom. And while that is a blessing to be able to return to your parents, you would think with someone that had been associated, and not just associated with, you have actual children by these various men that have significant wealth, right, of their own. Why is it that you couldn't go to stay with any of them, or why couldn't you send some of your kids, because you have 3 of them, none of the kids could like go to the dad, like, while you get yourself straight? Why is that not an option? Why are you just now, after this situation with the LA fires, which most people living in LA, I know a lot of people lack empathy for the people that suffered damage in the fires or lost their home. But a lot of people that live out there, they already are aware of the different weather dynamics when it comes to the fires, the earthquakes. Like, y'all living out there, you already know what it is. So my question to her is also like, why are you just now stating that this is your sign to leave LA? You're now going to leave LA. You're tired of renting. You just need to save up to own something. I mean, you literally have been in proximity to and procreated with millionaires. What do you mean you don't have the amount of savings to buy something? Like, I can't wrap my mind around this predicament in which she is saying that she does not have enough clothes for her kids, and she could do the hotel because her renter's insurance covers the hotel, but she's stating that she doesn't want to have to deal with Uber Eats and not being able to cook because it's going to be too expensive. They have extended stay hotels, right? They have Airbnbs, right? I don't know if renter's insurance could be applicable to Airbnbs. I would think that it could, right? I would think that she could call on any of her men that she's dealt with. Obviously she can't call on Diddy because he's in prison now, but I don't understand, and I can't wrap my mind around how you could be in that level of a predicament considering the proximity that you have had to wealth on numerous occasions, including giving birth to the offspring of people that are of means. How are you in a predicament in which you don't have enough clothes for yourself or the children, and you are confined to this small space of having to go back to stay with your mom? It does not make sense, y'all. It does not make sense. And I saw a lot of comments saying that, this is, cautionary tale for these IG baddies. A lot of people were bringing up Drea. And y'all, I can't even foresee Drea being this down bad. I can't even see for Drea being in this kind of situation where she is online complaining about her financial situation and talking about having to move back in with her parents, or not being able to have adequate clothing for her children or have even a backup home. And that was another thing that I just didn't understand. My understanding with the football player that she was with, that she just most recently had a child by, I think she still has essentially like an infant, if I'm not mistaken. And I think they broke up like very shortly after the child was born. But he lives in Texas. So why was there not an option for you to have like a home in Texas? And, I said this elsewhere, I don't understand how when you're in that position with those kinds of men, that you're not asking for very tangible items that are going to help you build wealth long term. Like, how is it that you're not asking for a down payment on a condo, or a townhome somewhere. You know, it doesn't have to be grand. It doesn't have to be like a whole mansion, right? But you are literally carrying, conceiving their children, and you're getting nothing out of it. And this is the other thing with Joy that made me want to talk about this. She also has had a history of coming online and bragging about the fact that she doesn't request child care or child support from any of the baby's fathers. And it will never be a flex, y'all, for some man that you have, you know, offered your womb to to be bragging about not having to do anything for you or his kids. Like, that is just, like, I really feel like I'm in a parallel universe right now, like, where this is being praised and she's actually feeling good about herself. Like, oh, I'm so independent, I'm so strong, I don't ask them for anything. And that's why you're in this predicament now where you're coming online and you're talking about having to move in with your mother for shelter, because staying in an extended stay hotel or, you know, exploring any of those options is too expensive for you when you have had children by men who are millionaires. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, this is why you are in the predicament that you are in, and I wouldn't advise it, you know. And it's something that I don't understand. One thing I had said too when people were speaking about the IG baddies was that you have a lot of women out there that did make money on their looks and their bodies, but they were smart and they invested in it, right? I did a video on Bernice Burgos. She bought a home, like a mini mansion in New Jersey a couple of years ago. And yeah, for her and her daughter. So she set, right? She also had a pajama business that I know people try to say wasn't that lucrative, but at least she had something else outside of just her body that she was marketing and selling to bring in additional stream of income. And when I look at other women, I think like all the girls from that era, like a lot of them did invest their money wisely. So I just don't understand how Joy totally missed the mark here and got herself into a situation where she's talking about, well, I need to save up to buy a home. Girl, you should have had a couple of homes by now. So my takeaway from all of this and the true cautionary tale that I see here is never go into any relationship or situationship with a man without a plan, because that's all I see here. I see someone that was getting into relationships with these industry men, and maybe she was getting, falling in love, maybe she was getting caught up in the moment and a child came out of it because there was genuine love there. I'm not sure. That's what she's claiming, but obviously she wasn't left with anything tangible outside of a child. She wasn't left with anything that was of significant financial gain for herself to take away with so that she could actually protect and provide for her kids. And to me, that's losing, right? That's playing the game at a loss. And I find it interesting too how in the initial clip that I attached where she was speaking on her failed past relationships with these three men, that she admits that her own daughter, the oldest one by Bow Wow, does not want to have kids. So, kids are not dumb. And I can't help but think that her daughter Shy is perceptive enough to have caught on to how her mother navigates relationships with men and how those men treat her in return, and has decided, you know what, I don't want that for me. I don't even want to have kids. You know what I mean? And that's how she's come to that revelation, because of what she's seen her mother go through in the past failed relationships. And that's my takeaway in all of this. I hope she's able to get her stuff together. I hope this has been a teachable moment for her, and that she will do as she said, as far as like saving and trying to finally own something of her own for her kids' sake. I really hope so. And I hope that this whole story going viral does make those baby daddies embarrassed enough to actually step up and do something for her by way of buying her something, ideally not in LA, ideally anywhere else other than LA where it's safe and she could actually have something and the kids can have something and she's building equity. I would hope that that's the outcome, but I won't hold my breath on that. But what are you all's take? I'm definitely curious to hear your input. So definitely leave a comment down below. Are you even familiar who Joy is? I feel like I went through a phase years ago where like I was super duper into following different IG girls, like when I was a lot younger. And Joy was never super duper on my radar. I was more into like the Bernices, the Miracle Watts, and those girls. But I was always aware of Joy and how she was moving in those same kind of circles and was dating a lot of men in the industry. And to see her now be, heading into her late 30s, similar to Drea and all the other girls, and still be making these kinds of mistakes financially and having these kind of struggles financially, it's very sad to witness that, because when you see someone that had so much potential and you yourself as just a regular person is surpassing them, it's disappointing, but I'm definitely curious to hear you all's thoughts on it. Definitely leave a comment down below, and until next time, I'll see you soon.